With bond yields plunging across the world, the S&P 500's highest yielding dividend stocks are selling at their biggest discount in nearly 40 years, despite fears of global trade wars, weak economic data from China and Germany, and the brief inversion of the U.S. Treasury yield curve. Goldman Sachs has recommended several dividend stocks with high growth potential and which are trading at bargain prices. One of those stocks on Goldman's list is AbbVie. But that's not all. Recently, Piper Jaffray raised the rating on AbbVie to overweight from neutral, while leaving the $80 price per share target unchanged. So let's continue our series on AbbVie and take a look at the information and the charts. AbbVie stock is down more than 26% year to date. Why is this? Well, despite the recent earnings win for AbbVie, many investors remain skeptical of the Allergan acquisition. According to a Piper Jaffray analyst, the bottom of sorts may have been found for AbbVie, citing AbbVie's 6.3% dividend payout that management has pledged to raise, and how low the shares have gotten. The analyst stated that we generally hate valuation calls, but this one is one we can't ignore. Meanwhile, the median stock in Goldman's dividend growth basket, which includes AbbVie, beats the median stock in the S&P 500 on a number of key metrics. A 3.8% estimated dividend yield for 2019 versus 2.1% for the S&P 500. A dividend compound annual growth rate from 2018 to 2020 of 9% versus the S&P's 6%, and an estimated PE ratio for the next 12 months of 11 times versus 16 times for the broad market index. Compared to what markets are pricing in, Goldman's estimates for dividend growth are definitely optimistic, but combined with the historically low valuations, the discount for dividend stocks makes it easier to understand why Goldman's analysts think there is a great bargain to be had in these stocks, including AbbVie. Big dividends are looking especially attractive in a world where U.S. 10-year treasuries are yielding a little over 1.6% and declining. So now let's go to our charts and take a closer look at AbbVie. And we're looking at the monthly chart on AbbVie, and the symbol is ABBV. For disclosure purposes, I do not hold any shares of AbbVie at this time, and the close on Tuesday was $66.41. It's attempting a bottom or basing in here, but that's the price chart. Let's go to the oscillators. First off, the MACD looks like there's not much improvement here with the fast line below the zero line. The slow line is heading on down too. There's not much improvement there, and I think that's shown in the histogram where this red bar here, the current red bar, is slightly longer than the previous bar. But the fact that it's only slightly longer is maybe some improvement, but we really do start to see the improvement, say, when we get to the price rate of change. You can see here definitely a bottom basing is occurring there. Not quite ready for the fast line to move through the slow line, but that sawtoothing now is going to the sideways, and soon enough it's going to head up and through. We see a little bit of improvement in the RSI. Before, the RSI was just heading on down, but now it's taken a 90-degree turn and heading sideways. Still at a relatively weak 28.96, but improvement nonetheless. Now, most of the improvement that I see in the oscillators is coming from the stochastics. We see here it got that reflection, moved on down, but it's moving more or less in parallel with the slow line. That fast line is moving in parallel with that slow line. The next move is going to be the fast line moving up through that slow line, and that's going to be your first concrete sign that things are improving. Volume, not too bad. Red is approaching these upper levels, but that's somewhat expected down here in the current price level. Williams definitely showing a bottom basing in here with that sawtooth thing going on, and I think the next moves are going to be up. One last look at the price chart before we go take a look at the weekly chart. This is the 2-year weekly chart on AbbVie, and we could see here most recently the bottom, at least so far, the bottom was set there. And we had a pretty decent move off that bottom in the last week or so. And at least by the price chart, that's the best thing that we've seen for probably a couple of months or so. So let's go see what the oscillators have in mind. The MACD, definitely the fast line is starting to bottom here. With a slow line coming down through this way, the fast line will head up through that slow line, probably, I'd say, most likely into next week, something like that. But definitely you can see that the histogram is improving with that curving and moving on up. So that's improvement as well. Price rate of change, same sort of thing. Fast line is heading up through. So we just want to see if this is going to be more permanent with that fast line moving up, and hopefully it starts to head up toward that zero line. Same thing for RSI. The bottom was there, so a pretty hard move in the last week or so, heading on up. We just want that to continue. Stochastics, same sort of story there. Volume, and I think you have that expectation as I do. And then the Williams, also that bottom there and heading on up. So improvement in several of those oscillators. So we just want those improvements to continue. And then at some point in time, we'll get a lot more of those in alignment with the monthly. So now let's go quickly to the daily chart. And now we're looking at the 6-month daily chart on AbbVie, and you can see here that bottom there, and then a pretty hard turn in the last few days on the price. Now we did have a pretty long tail up there, probably started out there in the morning pretty high, and came on down and just closed slightly lower. These types of formations, a lot of people don't like them because it started up and then closed down. To me, the move all the way up here means that buyers are lining up to buy this. So I take a little bit different approach to it. MACD definitely shows improvements with this basing. You can see the same thing here in the histogram. Looks good. The price rate of change also. Relative strength, I'll echo that there too. And stochastics looks good. Volume looks fine. And then the Williams definitely shows the improvement as well. Back up here to the price chart. And I think with the price as well as the oscillators starting to improve, that compounded with reports coming out from the likes of Goldman Sachs and Piper Jaffray, that's all good news. So the momentum is starting to build. Whether you buy or not is up to you. For me, I like to take a look at the monthly charts before I pull the trigger. To me, that's the most important chart of all. And right now, it's only showing slight improvement. So just simply be patient and conduct your fundamental analysis. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.